I'm Nicole Langlois from store 203 in Reno, Nevada. I'm working on my friend Annie Foth today. After doing a thorough consultation and double draping her for color, we decided to do an accent highlight from the crown forward and then a long layered haircut. So first we're going to start parting her into a horseshoe section, and we're going to do that by finding the parietal ridge all the way back to the occipital. We want a nice clean parting. So after I get her section, I'm going to clip up all the hair out of the way to prepare to foil. Pull back all this extra hair. Perfect. So I'm going to be starting in the back, and we decided to do a zipper pattern. That way she can get more coverage for less. I'm going to take my first diagonal parting, and you always want to make sure that you never foil a section bigger than a peace sign. So you can make a peace sign with your fingers, put it down on the head, and that's going to give you direction on how much you should foil. Section all your hair up on top of the head, out of the way. Now for Annie, I decided to do slices so she can have more of a bold dimension to give her more pop in her color. So applying your first foil at a diagonal section, fold it back over your comb. Hold your hair down, and I'm going to pick up some of the product. And I'm going to start applying about an inch away from the head so I don't overlap previously lightened hair. Turn your tint brush and feather it up so you don't have any tiger stripes or bleeding. Now for Annie today, we decided to use the Blonde Idol Oil Lightener because I'm not lifting through a ton of previous color. I don't need a ton of power behind it, and I'm only using 20 volume. And I like the oil in the lightener because I feel like it creates less damage on the hair. So for your next section, I'm going to start halfway through the second foil to start creating that zipper pattern. Diagonal section. A nice clean parting. Pull all your loose hair out of the way. And then once again, clip up the rest of the hair up tight on top, out of your way. You don't want any bigger than a peace sign. Pick up your hair. And then, like I said, once again, about an inch away from the hair. Blend into the line of demarcation. Turn your brush and feather it to the top. Now you're going to continue this pattern all the way forward, back and forth, making sure you start halfway through, diagonal parting, clip your hair out of the way. Now if you're going to be working on somebody that has previous colored hair, I would recommend probably using the up to 7 or the flash lift, but I would use no more than 20 volume. You don't want to cause damage in the hair. It's better to wait the time and have them sit longer lifting than it is to use a high-powered bleach with high-powered volume and blow out the cuticle. Feathering. And this is a great pattern to do if your client has not a ton of time, because it goes so quickly yet they still get the coverage of a full highlight. I'm starting halfway through, and we're just zigzag our way all the way to the front. be fine. Now, even though I'm slicing, I'm making sure it's still a fine enough section that you can read the letters on your comb through. If you do it too thick and chunky, that can also cause bleeding and tiger striping. And you notice I'm always doing a triple fold on my foils. That way they're locked in tight, and if you need to go back in, you can lift and move your foils. Really important to educate your clients that when you're highlighting, to try not and overlap, over bleach, that can cause breakage. You're already breaking up to 20% of the bonds in the hair when you highlight. So I'm also going to recommend to Annie to get one of the Chemistry Redken shots. For her, I'm going to be doing a all soft chemistry shot to help repair some of those broken bonds in her hair, which occurs when you lighten no matter what. There's no avoiding it. So if we can help reverse some of the process, that's going to be in your client's best interest. Folding once, folding twice. Bringing the sides over, lock your foil in. And I'm approaching the front, and I already explained to her, for most of my clients, I leave out about a 1/2 inch, 1/4 inch around the hairline. Highlighting up front like that, I feel like it shows their outgrowth quicker. So if we just drop out just a little bit on the front, make sure your last foil just kind of comes at an angle, leaving out just a little bit up front. Nice and tight foil. Blending. As the bleach expands, it'll come up just a little bit and give it that nice retouch. It won't have a gap if you're applying it correctly. Foil. Now I'm putting in her last zigzag foil. Coming in halfway. You can see I just have just a little bit of the hairline out. Foil. So once I get this last foil in, we're gonna let Annie sit for about 20 to 25 minutes, no heat. We don't want the oil to have an adverse effect on her underneath the dryer. So she's just gonna hang out in my chair, checking her periodically to see how she's lifting, and then she'll be ready. All right, now we have Annie shampooed with the Blonde Idol sulfate-free shampoo to help bring a gentle pH back in her hair, and then I conditioned with the Frizz Dismiss to help bring moisture and shine. We're gonna get ready to start the cut, and I started parting her down the center for a symmetrical perimeter. I'm gonna be starting in the back, and I'm just gonna take about a 1 inch section to create my guide. Combing her hair all the way clean, free of knots. I'm gonna bring her chin all the way forward to prevent any stray hairs from happening. Comb all the way down, bring your chair up. And now you want to make sure your fingers are completely parallel to the ground so you don't create any bevel in the haircut. Now I have my guide, and I'm just going to continue by taking about 1 inch to 1/2 inch subsections, depending on how much you like to cut. Fingers parallel to the ground and cut. And we're going to continue that all the way around the head. So I've sectioned off this front section from the top of the head. You can lay your comb flat on there and see where the comb lifts off. That's the top, all the way down behind the ear. Now when I'm coming around the ear, we want to make sure to release some tension off the perimeter. That way you don't create a hole in your haircut where the ear would lie. So I comb it down and I just tap it with my comb, just to relieve a little tension. And then cut. And you can follow that all the way to the front. Now to create my long layers, I've chosen to do a complete 180 haircut for Annie. Now what that means is that I'm going to bring all of her hair up to a 180. So I'm going to start with a 1-inch mohawk section at the front of the head to create my guideline. I'm combing it all up, nice and smooth. And once again, all the way to the 180, no bend in the hair. And fingers parallel to the ground and cut. Once you have your initial guide, you can take another 1/2 inch to 1 inch sections all the way around the head, working off your guide up to a 180, and your fingernails parallel to the ground and cut. I'm going to finish Annie's cut with just a little bit of soft face framing. I'm going to do that by taking those sections that we originally parted out from the top of the head down behind the ear. And I'm going to slide cut all the way down, starting below the chin. Open my scissors slightly and just open and tuck just a little bit all the way down. Gliding, gliding, gliding to the end. And you have this nice soft face framing that comes in all around the face. Then I'm just going to cross check everything, make sure everything's even, and she's ready to blow dry. So today, for Annie's finished look, I used the One United 25 Benefits. I feel like it had multiple good qualities for her, including a heat protectant, shine, and moisture. And then I finished with the Frizz Dismiss oil just through the ends to seal down the cuticle and give her that nice finished look.